Startup Podcast PH is co-produced by Sprout Solutions. Check out our partners in the description. Startup Podcast PH is at enspace Cebu and will interview startups and enablers from Cebu. In this episode, we have Symph, a tech software development company based and registered in Cebu, and its growth and special partnerships lead, Shad de la Cruz. Hello, Shad. Kamusta?
Hello, Johnny. Thank you for having me on this podcast.
Yeah.
Really excited to kwentuhan with you.
Yeah, kwentuhan lang tayo. And meron kayong event, no, in 2 days. Although,
Agree.
malamang pag na-publish itong episode na to, baka it's done na.
But of course, our event is a recurring every
Yeah.
month. So
Yeah.
there's
But,
always.
yeah. Yeah, but anyway, let's talk more about Sim. So, ano nga bang Sim?
So Symph is a software development company based here in Cebu originally, and then during pandemic, it was just a need to really go remote.
Mm,
Putting it remote allowed us to also hire
mm,
new people from different parts of the country. So yan, medyo nag-expand talaga. So parang 60% of employees are still here, and then
mm,
the rest are scattered in Mindanao,
mm,
in Pampanga, in Manila. So
mm.
parang yan, medyo ang saya. So it really grew, and then some of the projects that we've worked with, of course, are really focused on custom software development. So we build softwares, impactful software to our clients as well. So we've worked with the government, with
Mm,
private, with enterprises in the Philippines as well as abroad.
yeah.
International companies as well.
Yeah, actually, first of all, no, yung what you said about the remote work,
Yeah.
later pag-usapan natin yan. Napakaraming implications niyan. That's the future of work. And
Mhm.
actually, napakadaming implications niyan, even economically for the Philippines. Even
Yeah.
kasi like you can work even when you're in different province from where the work is really
Correct.
being done, right? So where the office really is. So parang the capital can also move there. But anyway, later pag-usapan natin yan.
Okay.
So ano muna ang like the things that you really do at Sim? So you're a software dev, right? So what exactly are these?
Yeah, I mean, well, for me, I was a software dev previously, but in terms of Symph naman, so a software development firm, we build, different softwares, right? Apps, websites, AI solutions as well. Now that, the world is really into the AI, speaking of that, we did some initiatives to really push AI, that allowed, our company as well, like to build products on top of, all these, trends. So yeah, and I think, Symph has been in the business in the Philippines for almost 15 years. And I would say it's one of the pioneers in the Cebu tech startup scene,
Mm.
that really engage with, the community, with, the businesses here and different enterprises
Mm.
as well.
Ayun, let's talk about that. So now, no, so you've been in software dev, but you're now the growth and partnerships lead. Kasi so
Mm,
parang nag-build din ka ng community. You're also helping
yeah.
enable the community, the startup community, the tech community here in Cebu. So
Mm.
let's talk about that. So as this having this role, what do you really do?
Yeah. Okay, well, aside from the things that you have mentioned, so yeah, I run our events, programs, initiatives, and just reality of our business, right? It's really at the core of building relationships with people, and most of the time, you'll meet these people at events and programs that are engaging directly to their needs, their wants, and so yeah, so my role is really leading a lot of these initiatives within Symph, pushing it as our growth strategy as well. And the other side as well,
Mm,
of course, is through our online presence and
mm.
marketing, basically, right? Digital marketing solutions, and practices such as SEO, SEM, and different data gathering strategies that we need to do.
Yeah,
So
I want to ano lang, no, again,
yeah,
sa growth part na, no,
yeah,
kasi yung growth for a company, for a business, it comes in two ways, eh. Like one
mm,
way is like yung externally, like growth in terms of the market, clients,
correct.
customers. Another part naman is parang internal, like yung
Employee.
the employees, the people inside. So
Mm.
what's growth really? In
That's a
Sim,
good
in Sim.
question. That's a very good question. Of course, for us, it's comes both ways as well. We build Symph brand to, of course, to engage with potential customers, and of course, at the same time, for potential employees as well. And we love to really meet great people, and that's one of our core values as well, to hire great people so that we can deliver better service for our clients as well. So yeah, I think that's one of the
Mm,
critical,
yeah.
most important part of our company.
And then for the partnerships naman, so who are you partnering with? And can we know more about the event? So into this ano, I'll go there
Yeah.
sa Tech Listen. So and baka may iba pang event. So
Yeah.
can we know about that?
Sure. So basically, Tech Listens, the program itself came about as a kind of an internal initiative originally. Because one of the things that we see in most of the startups is, um, like it starts with an idea, right? It starts with why. But we kind of like say, like, wait, are you sure that we should start with the why?
Okay.
What if we change and flip it a little bit and say, let's start with who? Let's start
Mm.
with the people who have this very clear pain points, challenges, and opportunities that we can offer a software solution. And it came about in looking into that. We're in, yeah, why don't we create an event that listens, tech listens. We flip the
Interesting.
script of a typical tech event, and we want to bring a non-tech person on stage, and then tech people will listen. And for the last previous events, probably you didn't know, except this one, because this
Yeah.
one is really catered for the startup ecosystem.
Mm.
We brought in the head of director general of the Philippine Space Agency, DG Mariano, Joel Mariano,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
to to
He's from UP. Yeah,
correct,
yeah.
from UPD. We flew him in
Mm.
here to Cebu to talk about space. And I think that's one of the best opportunities we had previously. And then nung March, we also brought in 5 different women leaders of Cebu to share their experiences in their own spaces. And then, of course, the tech people listen and just
Mm.
really learning their experiences. Same thing with our April, which was about accounting, tax, and finance. We brought in CFOs and tax practitioners and
Mm.
accountants to talk about their industry. And then we listen. And then basically May was heritage.
Mm.
Then June is just a little bit of a twist. We brought in the startup community so they know this program exists.
Oh, amazing. Actually, I'm
Yeah.
amazed, I'm amazed yung parang rationale nitong Tech Listens.
Yeah.
Ang ganda nung name 'no, Tech Listens kasi lagi ng tech speaks, eh, 'no.
Right.
So now
So tech
now Tech
talks.
should listen.
Yeah.
Like sa mga events ba na 'to may ano 'to, may parang may exchange, may discussion kasi so parang they speak about their pain points like
Mm.
these agencies, these organizations. Then, does it there a point naman na like the tech answers, kumbaga the tech listens and then answers.
That's a really good point. Yeah. So actually the tech listens, it's kind of like a part of a great scheme that we were planning. But of course, the first part is really starting with who, right? We want to
Mm.
see different industries on stage and then everybody listens. And of course, after those kind of events and activities, we want to also create a dedicated space wherein
Hmm.
now let's focus on build.
Hmm,
Why don't we build? Why don't we engage of,
kaya yung now, yung this June is a
yeah,
Pecha Kucha
yeah.
night, right? So sige, can you
Yeah,
talk to them about
absolutely.
Pecha
So
Kucha, the
Picha
format?
Kucha basically it's a format of sharing a storytelling, of presenting as well. It has 20 slides for 20 seconds each. And your goal is to really capture and captivate a story to your audience. And of course, in that kind of format, it's short, but at the same time, it's filled with very clear objective of really delivering a message to your audience. What we ask our speakers for this event is to drive it with a call to action. That
Hmm.
means you have to have a clear call to action on your Bichakucha so that it becomes very interesting and people can engage with you
Hmm.
after your talk. Yeah.
Amazing. Later on, so what other like entities do you have in mind for the tech list? Kumbaga yung nag-express ng lang pain point. So, kasi I'm imagining napakaraming parts, humans of society na
Mm,
of course pwedeng solusyonan ng tech
correct.
ano. So, do you have other ideas for other agencies or organizations or maybe the common people or the common SMEs? May ganun din bang kayong naiisip in the future?
Correct. Of course. Actually, our next month is already prepared.
Mm.
It's called Tech Listens to MSMEs.
Yo, sakto.
And we're bringing in I don't know, 5 speakers from different MSMEs industries in
Mm.
Cebu,
Mm.
talk about their experiences,
Mm.
and then tech will probably amplify what kind
Yeah.
of solutions they
Mm.
need, what are the
Mm.
opportunities that the tech can also offer,
Mm.
and it's going to be like a great exchange of
Yeah.
of opportunities over there.
Actually, super amazing. I mean, and kasi parang ano siya, I mean, yun din yung maganda exchange for
Mm,
MSMEs. They actually have very, ano rin, very practical, very grounded
correct,
approach to doing
correct.
business. And then yung tech, ito naman yung parang medyo innovation side of,
Mm,
na actually, these two can actually work together. Yeah.
absolutely. I was just sharing actually kanina with one of our partner as well, and I was sharing about imagine how much if an MSME has an access to the data of its customer
Mm.
or engaging directly to its first party customers and utilizing it. Like, one example is like I run a team in one of our startups in Symph, and one of the things that I do as growth is really look into the data. So I did a little bit of an analysis and look into what are the people, who are the customers, where are they from, like what age group are they from, what time or like what software they're using to access our app as well, or I mean, uh, you know, kind of of device. So a lot of this is like gives us a little bit more of understanding of what, how, and when
Mm.
does our
Yeah.
customer interact with us. And it really gives us a concept of, okay, what is the action that we need to do here? The marketing side, right?
Mm.
We were able to kind of, um, like, create a costume campaign specifically for different types of audience that
Mm.
we have.
Yeah, but that's actually a very good format kasi I agree that there should be more exchange, like
Yeah,
discussion-wise, tsaka parang to really connect yung the solution that tech can offer and the pain point that
correct.
this any player in the ecosystem actually feels. Is this your idea?
Well, yeah, I think majority is
Mm,
really to drive that, right?
mm,
It's for me, I always really enjoy like, I mean, for as a growth person, it's like I like to see something grow. I
mm,
like something,
mm,
specifically from the community, engaging with community as well. That means that's faster
mm,
validation of things that
mm,
you can
mm.
do as well.
Is payroll processing taking too much of your time? Introducing Sprout Payroll Starter. For as low as 5,000 pesos per month, you get a team of experts to help you with your payroll and HR needs. We'll help compute and process payroll, handle all your government compliance requirements, and automate timekeeping. Leave the payroll to us so you can focus on growing your business. Enjoy peace of mind with Sprout Payroll Starter.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, now that we're sharing this to the
Yeah.
public, parang I mean, it's a very good idea then for other people to
Mhm.
implement this, especially like if you're like a tech company, a tech startup, parang maganda rin na magkaroon ng ganitong mga discussions,
Tama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's know more about you, Shad. So, can we know more about your background and kasi you're the one who gave birth to this idea in Symph. So, maybe pakwento ng onti about yourself para na malaman natin saan ba nanggaling itong idea nito. Paano pinanganak yung idea?
Well, yes, sige. So I think I was born and I raised in Bacolod, and it's my hometown, and I graduated computer science,
Mm.
and I think it was I was in my university when I started really to engage more to the technology space, right? And I started creating my own software. I think I was in
Mm.
my second year college when I got to do freelance
Mm.
software, WordPress, WordPress or
Oh, wow.
custom JavaScript and things like that. Different kind of projects that I can do, and started earning myself, right? And out of that, I got involved with the startup concept when Attorney Giselle Batapasige, I don't know, Undersecretary of the ICT now.
Mm.
She was actually a former counselor in
Mm.
Bacolod. Brought in Startup Weekend in Bacolod.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, basically that opened up my entire world of startup. Parang
Oo.
shit, this exists. I can choose not to work in the corporate world.
Hmm.
Parang ganun. And in that moment, I said like, hey, actually we have so much ideas and opportunities so we can play around. And I said like, hey, I want to do it. Right. And then basically I moved to Cebu.
Mm.
Uh, you know,
Before you even found Symph or because you
before
already
I even found
before?
Cebu,
Okay.
I moved here because I got invited by a Google event. So back
Mm.
then in university, I was also like a student ambassador program, things like that, like exchange program. I'm very active on those kind of extracurricular. So very much on out talaga. So when I moved to Cebu, I also got engaged with the community here, with the Google community, which is the GDG. And that also was my, basically, I don't know anybody in the city. I moved here to, find a job, but
How old were you then, if I may ask? I mean, just to have, just for our
yeah,
listeners to have like an
for sure.
idea
I think
then.
I moved here 2015. So
Oh,
that's about 9, 10 years. Dude,
okay,
that
okay, okay,
long
okay,
time ago. I think
okay,
I
okay.
was 21,
Oh,
22,
okay,
right?
okay, okay.
So yeah. So when I got here, I didn't do
Mm,
work. I wasn't able to find job because I was doing
mm,
freelance already.
ah,
So that freelancing is sustaining me enough money. And then I did a startup, which
oh,
I got connected with the people of the startup scene in Cebu. During the time, the first Geeks on the Beach, parang
mm,
early days of Geeks on the Beach, early years, I was able to, to learn about that. And then, I think it was crazy. I met Symph, I met, the other people from Cebu Engage Park. I think all the OGs, Tina Ampere and, Mark Ben Consejo. These are the OGs, Johnny. So, long story short, basically, since I was doing a huge work in, I was doing startups as well, and then I got to join Symph. When I got to,
how did you join Symph? I mean, how did you come into?
so this is a very interesting story. Yeah. So I was very active already in that
Mm,
community. That means I was doing events for dev community. Really, I remember my first ever tech event or like, dev event in Cebu was in the Rise in IT Park. It's one of the first co-working space here.
mm,
I think that was the only co-working space back
mm,
then.
mm,
And just imagine, bro. Uh, I barely know how to organize an event. I don't know this, I mean, I'm new in the city. I was asked to organize an event, so I just did it. And then there were 50 people that showed up. But one of the best thing about my event was it was the first event and the only event that I ever organized with a freaking ice cream machine. And everybody was like doing Mr. Softy thing, like, soft serves. It's so fun. Yeah. So yun, basically out of that, I think I got really close with the same folks
mm,
in a sense that we see each other in the events that I organize. And then one of the co-founder of Symph, Albert Baden, and me, parang Albert will be speaking in Ateneo de Manila event of parang GDG event as well. And then also wanted to come. Pero we didn't know that we are going to go together.
mm,
So the same flight we got into, and then he was like talking to me about his vision about Sim and
mm,
everything that he really
mm.
wanted to achieve in Sim. It was really, I mean, if you've met Albert Padden, he's very passionate about, about these things, like making the world a better place. And it was like really spot on of what I also believe in and aligns to my own personal goal as well. So long story short, he offered me a job
So
spot on the
dahil pala sa
plane.
airplane
On
flight.
the plane pa lang. He said like, hey, I don't know what you're gonna do, but
Mm,
would you like to
mm,
come and join our company? I said, I have a job. I have like a good gig on the
mm,
side, but yeah, let me think about it. So we went to the event, everything else. And then of course, me, I don't really like staying in Manila that long
mm,
back then.
mm.
I flew back as well. And then he also flew back the same flight as
Sabay na
me.
naman kayo.
Sabay na naman kami. And then he asked me again. So what we did was we were in the airport and the lady put like a time of what time the flight would be. So we said, let's go out, let's talk and let's have dinner. They said, when we arrived back in the airport, there's no more plane. Basically the plane left us already. So that like, we had a longer time to like talk and the airline fixed everything for us. And then the next early day, we got the flight back to Cebu. Before the plane landed, I said, okay, let's do it. I'll join.
And during that time, you already joined as a growth and partnerships lead?
Not yet.
Not
Yeah.
yet. So, yeah.
They called me back then special ops
Oh, wow.
because they're
Special
just
ops.
really like, they're trying to find like what I do. But I end up leading or, working on different startups
Mm,
that Symph was pushing. So one of that is the MLEP, which is a fintech back then.
Mm.
I
Mm.
was just part of like just the documentation before we sell it to Mlulir, since it
Mm.
was ePay. Then we had I also worked with GeoStore, which is one of our government projects. And then eventually I was with a project called YYY Jobs,
Mm.
which is our blue collar
Mm.
app before. That was, I grew that as well. I was part of the growth.
And how did you become part of this partnership's role? This ano?
Yeah, good question. So, so right after Symph, actually, I left Symph
Mm.
because Google invited me to join
Oh.
the dev role, which I of course you don't say. So I got through the interview and then I joined Google for almost 3 years. In Google, I was leading programs called Developer Student Clubs, which my job was to launch it across Southeast Asia. So I said, like, dude, I started in Cebu. I don't know anybody, but now I have to figure out
Mm.
Pakistan, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia. It was really an amazing experience for me. Really like just learning, connecting with a lot of this, building communities as well.
Yeah, and then yeah, so you came back to Symph and then
Not yet.
yeah.
So there was a
Ah, okay.
startup I joined, which
Oh,
I
wow.
was doing
Mahaba-habang
growth,
kwento 'to, ah.
growth and partnerships. Yeah,
Oo.
and that's when I was really working. Since it was a fintech, so I was doing a lot of fintech engagement, accounting partnerships. Clients who will refer their clients, things like that. A lot of that, like more of like building. How can we work together? Share, you know, clients that might be relevant for both of us. So more of that. And then events and programs for that company as well.
Mhm.
And then I did a little bit of a hiatus and then I joined back Sim this year.
Yeah. And then ayun kasi yung question ko, like when other people hear about startup,
Yeah,
automatically I think
right.
the normal thing that they would think is dev side, the tech side.
Correct.
Pero like you can also work for us for a startup. I
Yeah.
mean like if for a tech company, even for like the business dev side, for the growth side, for
Mm.
the partnership side. So yeah, what do you have to say about that? Na parang malaki din pala yung parang possibility na you're
Your
not
role.
really closed into like the super tech side. So ano, yeah. Do you have any
I agree. No, like I mean, in the startup scene alone, like I mean, at the very core of if you look at the founding team, right, you need the person who knows how to sell. I
mm,
would say like the
mm,
CEO should be the person. The purpose of the CEO is just to find client, right?
mm,
Find your first client. That then you have a partner, which is a tech
mm,
guy who will help
mm,
you build things and make it possible,
mm,
right? And both can create a powerful team. And
mm,
then, of course, if you have a designer as well, you'll
mm,
make it a lot more beautiful.
yeah.
Like more of a, I don't know, like a better looking app, right?
Yeah, but actually good thing you mentioned that ano kasi like for me like that's also how I built the podcast
Mm,
kasi parang startups are like the intersection of two major things entrepreneurship like yung
correct.
business side nga and innovation or the tech side parang
Mm,
how do you upgrade, how do you quote unquote disrupt, how do you level up how services are traditionally being done ano. So parang I think for Filipinos we should have more of those two, we should have more entrepreneurs, we should have more innovators, and I think that's how then startup should be seen, like the convergence of these two
correct.
major concepts. So for you,
Mm,
how is the startup scene in Cebu since you've been here for a very long time? I mean,
absolutely.
in terms of also of like parang first yung adoption ng mga
Mm,
tao and second yung parang maybe skills wise and third parang yung how really is tech innovation like the overall feel, the overall kumbaga yung acceptance of these
mm.
concepts here.
It's a good point, bro. So I think I mentioned I moved here 14,
Yeah.
correction, 2014.
So
In
mga 10
2014,
years ago na.
10 years ago, tama. 10 years ago, the main reason why I moved here, because I said like Cebu feels like me. It's like it's trying to figure out what it wants and it's still growing.
Oo, ganda nun, ah.
Yeah. And then looking back, Cebu from today, when that time it was just I think it was like around August or June or August around this time 10 years ago, the rise, which is the co-working space, the first co-working space in Cebu was launched. And it's very interesting, there was no co-working space back then, right? WeWork was pretty new in the US. So And you start seeing people coming to that, you know, place. And then you see people who claim as startups, right? I mean, back then, like 2014, if you look at now, 10 years ago, it's like, this is norm. Back then, it's like, what's that? Right? It, I would say it grew, right? It's a huge growth as well in terms of just the idea, the maturity and understanding, the support. Back then, there was no DICT, there's no startup
Philippine
funds.
startup law because
The law
it
as
was
well.
signed several years ago. Yeah.
Correct. And the world was totally different back then, I would say. Like the Geeks on the Beach from its very core, when it was launched in 2013 in Boracay, or I think Cebu, Boracay, and then I think Boracay and then Bohol, Palawan. So that was back then. The main core of it was really to push the startup ecosystem,
Mm,
like just really bring it up,
mm,
make it
mm,
alive, like make it happen.
mm,
So not a lot of activities happening in the ecosystem. Eh. So Symph was at the very core as well. Like we're pushing because it will highly benefit the entire economy or
yeah.
the entire ecosystem
Yeah.
if there are more people
Mm,
doing startup.
yeah.
And it really has. I would say it's the task of the ecosystem
Mm,
to push it. Because if not, it's hard.
yeah.
For example, L and in enspace, like what they're doing here is very important to the
Mm,
entire ecosystem,
yeah.
providing an avenue for everybody to build something
Yeah.
or connect, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to go, no, sa ating conversation. Ito yung pinaka-importanteng part dito. Kasi
yeah,
Symph is really like ano nga, no, like a software development company, parang
yeah,
really providing the solutions to other companies out there.
correct.
Pero right now, Symph, and I think other companies, other startups should follow na parang be part of the ecosystem building, be part of the community building. So how important is this part yung kumbaga pag-build ng community for Symph itself as
Mm,
a company? I mean, of course, this is like you're doing this for the whole community, ano, for the whole place, for Cebu, even for the Philippines. Pero for Symph itself,
yeah. For me, it's very important, right? I mean, I would say our business, as I mentioned earlier, is built on relationship. That means like people who have worked with us, people who knows us, people who have engaged with us,
ay,
are just people who are championing us as
yeah.
well. And that's again, as mentioned, our growth strategy.
Mm,
And one of the things that we believe is like we build this community to give access or
mm,
in a sense like a way for you to connect and build connect with us. Like, so you get our brains so we can align and,
mm,
you get a little bit of what we think about certain things. So yeah, I think it's very one of the core, right, of our fundamental principles.
mm.
In our mission statement, you can even see it on the culture website. So
Ah.
it's very at the core na building community is one of our
Oh, actually, I mean, of course, it's like an advocacy, pero business
was
dev side din
correct
naman siya, eh,
for
naman.
sure.
So,
Yeah, it's kind
kasi,
of like I mean, it has to be right.
yeah.
Okay, at the end of the day, it's a business,
Mm,
and of course aligning that to to what we believe in, what we know best.
yeah.
If you think what we're doing is
Mm,
relevant,
mm,
right? Being part of a
yeah.
community is and Symph through that. I think
Yeah, but
that we're
yeah, that's
just
true.
gonna
I mean, you cannot do tech without trust, without relationships.
agree
And
totally.
I mean, for a startup even, you don't just do your own solution, do your own thing. You should actually come from those who actually like suffer or face the problem. So I agree actually that the whole ecosystem should have more communication, should have more
Mm.
discussions. How big is the team of Teams now? So it's like ano, 'di ba, parang remote work then
Yeah.
all around the country. So yeah.
Right. May ID number, iniwan ko sa baba. Parang 26 ata ako eh.
Um,
So 26, I think when that was like way back. But now
mm,
we're like 100 people
mm,
already.
mm. Oh, wow.
So
So these are all, I mean, these are mostly devs then or
correct. Yeah.
oh,
I
wow.
think 70% are devs, if I'm
Mm.
not mistaken.
Okay, and
Yeah.
here's finally what I really wanted to go to sa ating conversation.
Sige.
Kasi Sim is also like championing the future of work with
For sure.
remote work. Kasi I mean that's also the good thing with Dev. You don't have to meet in one office naman physically every
Correct.
day, especially if your clients is from different companies all around the country, or even maybe if you have foreign clients, ano. So I think it's an opportunity then for the Philippines kasi
Mm.
it's the perfect decentralization aspect na parang Symph, there are Symph meron sa Bacolod, sa Cebu, sa Manila, let's say any part, let's say Mindanao, Bicol, Ilocos, for example lang ano. And then they work for Symph and Symph connects them with like big clients, foreign clients. And then because they are skilled
Mm.
and nasisweldohan sila ng Symph with a good amount. So they also kumakalat din yung skills, kumakalat din yung capital, kumakalat din yung
Correct.
financing. So nagkakaroon din ng more economy in other
They're
places.
local.
Ano. So
Correct.
what do you think about that?
Totally agree with you. And I align greatly in that perspective as well. Kasi, I mean, uh, I have friends who are constrained with their
Mm.
workplace, right? There are for sure benefit, cons and pros and cons, right? Pros is that you have an office. That means you have a physical interaction with the people, and I really appreciate that. Like I like seeing like this one. Like if you're my workmate, I'd be really happy to
Yeah.
spend more podcast time with you, Jen. So I mean, it would be really fun to really get to interact with people and do a little bit of a kwentuhan. I remember way back in 2016 to 2020, just before the pandemic, we had an office space. We had the same had an office space
Own
in
office?
Orhelio. Yeah, it was
Oh.
like it's a 3-floor building. Basically, we rented it all out, and then ang saya nun kasi we on the third floor. What we did was like we made it like a huge whiteboard. Right? Like end to end, like lahat yan whiteboard, so people can just write, and then people will circle it, and
Mm.
then they will put save, just like So I
Mhm.
mean, the experience is really amazing
Mm.
when you are in person.
Yeah.
But of course, when the one of the struggles of Sim back then was the constraint of the skills as well. Like, you're getting limited to the skills of people that are only based in Cebu. When you're hiring, you're
Gets.
gonna basically compete with everybody here, right? Like, there's several other options here, like Accenture, Concentrix, or other BPOs that are already looking for devs as well. And of course, in the way I would say it, like Symph has a little bit of a different standard. It prioritizes culture on the way you do work, and then your skill, and then basically ability for you to deliver, and other factors as well in the hiring process. But going back, when we went remote, that basically opened up, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
started having access to people from Davao, from
Mm.
Cagayan de Oro,
Mm.
from Pampanga, from Manila, right?
Mm.
That are coming from really good universities as well. I mean, at the same time, they were really passionate about what they do, software building, and then their coding skills as well. Uh, yeah, and I think for me, that's really the very core and the benefit of
Yeah.
going remote.
Mm.
And then for sure, what you said, economical,
Yeah.
benefit that it happens on their local.
Yeah, yeah. Tsaka actually, I mean, pros and cons, no? I mean, yun nga, yung
Yeah.
first con, yung parang the lack of physical communication, ano. I mean, of course, meron din naman yung challenges. Pero,
Yeah.
like, the pros is, because the Philippines kasi is an archipelago. I mean,
For sure.
Metro Manila pa nga lang, nagreklamo na yung mga tao ang traffic, diba? Hindi pa nga outside the
Yeah.
island yun, eh. Pero, I mean, totoo naman na we should adapt to that with traffic.
Oo.
And then, the Philippines being an archipelago, remote work actually solves the problem of having to,
Go.
araw-araw magbabarko, araw-araw mag-plane. So,
Correct.
diba? And you can have talents from every part of the
I think
country.
what we are doing, Johnny, to kind of like shorten the gap of that relationship, is again, I think one of the things that you get out of Symph is the culture, as I mentioned. It's number one. When you join Symph, we have our own retro, we have our own activities
Yeah.
virtually, and
Oh,
kind of like everybody are required to stay in Discord voice.
yes.
In
Okay.
a sense that you can jump into one of my voice channel, and then we start Kwentuhan, and then kind of like
Wow.
I mean that
Normal office.
normal office, yeah. And I think one of the benefit there is that that gives you at least access to other people you probably don't know yet, or
Yeah.
yeah. So Pretty much that kind of culture na, you can achieve. But of course, not all companies are the same. Like,
Yeah.
especially if client work and,
Mm.
sobrang focus.
But
Yeah,
do you still have physical, like maybe once a year lang, ganyan? I mean,
correct.
physical team building, gathering.
Yes, yes, we have. But also, great champions as well of are some of our
Mm.
employees, within different hubs. We call it hubs. It's coming from Cagayan de
Gets.
Oro, Cebu,
Amazing.
Manila. They will just randomly
Oh,
meet up on a
yeah.
weekend and then
Mm.
do like activities together.
Yeah, that's actually a
Yeah,
very, very good
yeah,
setup. Parang walang
yeah.
central headquarters. I
Correct.
mean, totoo naman. And that's the,
Uh,
kasi dapat like for the Philippines, different cultures and then geographically apart, no? Parang we should think of ways to combine decentralization with proper community, with like the intimate
yeah,
connections, ano. So instead of like having a central headquarters, why not?
the center.
Tama naman, may
Mm,
headquarter, may decentralized headquarters
yeah.
or offices
Correct.
in different parts. Pero maybe paminsan-minsan pa
Mm.
rin, meron pa rin parang one big meetup pa
Correct.
rin
So
naman.
every year we gather all of this 100 people
Mm.
in different places. So last year we did Bohol.
Oh, I see.
Previous years we did it in a mountain resort in Cebu.
Oh.
And then I think, pretty much now it's like we're planning it in Manila or
Mm.
Batangas or Rizal. I don't know. It could be anywhere, but that's
Interesting.
just something that we're planning every year.
Saya naman maging employee ng Symph. Alam mo kung ganyan ang startup, kung ganyan ang company, I mean, more people will talaga ma-engganyo sa ano. No. So, in what I see, kasi parang ano rin eh. I mean, ang ganda ng pagka-design kay Symph kasi aside from it being like just a tech company,
Yeah.
yung culture na ano, yung
Yeah.
parang tsaka yung proper navigation ng the future of work. Kasi, of
Correct.
course, these are challenges that the Philippines faces and thinking of ways on how to overcome this creatively but still innovatively and effectively. I think this is like how you should design a big company like Symph now, like 100 na yung mga employees, yung mga ano.
Yeah.
So moving forward, ano, so what really is Symph looking forward to in the future? Ano bang vision for Symph? How is Symph building its growth further?
Yeah. I mean, for us, Symph, the mission of Symph is to, build, solution products, uh, that impact or affecting, every problem affecting human life, basically. So in that context, we want to work with companies, organizations that are really impactful project. That means if you're, working in, for example, healthcare, or you're working on transportation management, or you're trying to solve a
Mm.
portion of that, these are like things that we really enjoy working. And in a context where we get to choose the project, we're a little bit lucky that we can choose.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, of course, I mean, in reality, our business is software development. It's projects, right? That means, it has a start and it has an end, and we have to find another one. But, I think it has been a blessing as well that we were able to kind of continue this business for the last almost 15 years, right? And, we've worked with amazing clients and network who has also referred us with a lot of other. So, the future of Symph, the way we see things would be building solutions that are helping, right? That are impacting people's lives. One of the things that we've built so far is a platform called Lesson Planner PH. And one of the things that we learned, from this product that we built was a majority of teachers spend about 40 minutes to 2 hours daily just to prepare their lesson plan, sometimes even more. And there's
Yeah.
just so much effort and time wasted on just preparing lesson plan, preparing the quiz, preparing and the structure of it. And what we did was early of last year, we went and do an AI 30 by 30 challenge for Symphers to build 30 apps in 30 days.
Oh, hackathon din siya, no?
Hackathon, 30 days. But that hackathon end up building almost 600 apps.
Mm.
And you can search it on some of the news site. I think we did a little bit of a PR on it because there's so many solutions. And one of the products that I mentioned was like Lesson Planner that are now being used. I think just the stat last month, 1.8 million lesson plan generated by 300,000 teachers around the Philippines. And, and it's crazy to think about like why would teachers use it? Basically we're saving huge time
Yeah.
from their 2 hours to in just 5 minutes of generating using AI. The difference is like the pre-prompt that we did was building the like alignment to the DepEd requirements and things like that. There's even quiz generator, like things like that on top of the building of the lesson planner. So now it's really building that platform. It's also revenue generating. I mean, little by little, it's one of our growing products at Symph
So you
as
should
well.
also have a tech license pala for the education sector for teachers. Or did you have na? Did you?
Not,
For the tech license, like the for
yeah,
the
I not yet. Yeah, we will do this. Yeah, correct. I think it's one of our plan for this year.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
teachers,
okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Teachers, as in these are elementary teachers, right?
Yeah,
Public school
elementary, high
teachers.
school, yeah,
Yeah.
public school teachers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ayun. Yeah, so salamat Shad for having this
Yeah.
conversation dito sa Startup Pod. It's actually a very do you know na 40 minutes na ang dumaan?
40 minutes na ba?
I'm actually surprised. Ang dami natin na pag-usapan and ang bilis ng
Yeah.
oras. I'm enjoy I so much enjoy this
Thank you,
conversation.
bro.
Lalo na like I mean, I'm a big actually now I get to realize that very important ng culture building sa isang
Yeah.
startup, sa isang company, especially I mean even if you're a tech company, culture is super important.
Yeah.
And especially if you're like building it large and building it remotely, then parang having that capability, that possibility na Filipinos all around the country work for you, pero you still maintain that culture, that kumbaga, that spirit, no, of Symph. So, ayun, thank you so much, Shad, for having this conversation. By
Thank
the
you,
way,
bro.
if our listeners want to know more about Symph, or about you and about you then, so how can they connect with
Yeah,
you or
of
with
course.
Symph?
Symph, you can visit our website, www.symph.co. So you can learn more about our company. And of course, for me, you can find me on LinkedIn, Shad Roy Dela Cruz. So that's it.
Ayun, search for Shad Roy. So, thank you.
Thank you,
so
Johnny.
much, Shad.
Appreciate it. Salamat.
Thank you very much to our 45 patrons. This episode is super powered by AskLexPH Academy, our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma, project management, data science, and more. ROC.ph, our creative marketing partner. Get unlimited digital marketing services monthly. One CFO services, bookkeeping and tax, and payroll processing for startups and small businesses. Enspace Cebu, global co-working space, private office, and meeting rooms for startups, digital nomads, and freelancers. Tuala, privacy-focused digital experience for sharing identity information across Web 2 and Web 3 ecosystems. Mamiki Super Pet App, the Philippines' first ever one-stop mobile app for pet products and services. MarketMind Local, a digital marketing company focused in helping small and medium businesses. Mata Technologies, Philippines' premier provider of virtual tours and maps for LGU's real estate, tourism, and private businesses. Hire Business Solutions, provider of the most configurable cloud-based payroll system in the Philippines. Smile, consent-driven digital employment verification service to make smarter decisions faster. Divico Technologies, IT solutions specializing in software development, blockchain smart contracts, digital wallets, and cybersecurity. Drive Manila, PH's largest peer-to-peer car rental community. Ignite Careers, career matching platform for Filipino talents and hiring companies in the outsourcing industry. Looking for buy and sell online with Sigurado sellers. NutriCoach, personalized nutrition and weight loss programs for you. Benjoy's food products, the home of premium bacon ends, tapa, and tocino. This episode is powered by Contact RFID business cards, Jure.ph, Big Giant Games, Founders Launchpad, Packetworks, Uplift Code Camp, Pareto Consulting, Agile Data Solutions, Hassle PH, Board Prep, Zales, Series MD, Pahatid PH. Please support the podcast through the links in the description.